What's up, guys? Nethervvoid here with another beta impression review for you. Something I've been doing more often lately. So, part of that's because I want to play new games. I want to check the new games that are coming out to see if I want to play them or not, put them on my channel, and then give you guys a little bit of taste of what the game is and kind of what it has to offer and things like that. I think that's kind of a good addition to the community to do that. So anyway, this game is Wildstar. It's a beta weekend. It's a closed beta weekend, but so many people got invites. It's almost like open beta. It's been baiting for a while now, and the NDA has been lifted for quite some time. And it's an MMO that has two ways to pay for it. It's going to be a purchase on release, which I don't really like too much. I know they need to get their operating costs back, or their development costs, but I kind of like the free-to-play game models now, where you don't even have to buy the client to download it. I just kind of feel like before you've even played, you shouldn't be buying the game in an MMO like this, because an MMO is something that you're going to be playing for a long time. You either love it or you hate it, usually. I don't know. It's a little different for me than single players, but anyway. So it's a one-time purchase to actually get the client, and then you can either pay monthly via subscription or via this thing called cred, which is something in-game, a lot like EVE Online, if you know about that, where you buy cred from a player. It's an item, and it gives you a month worth of subscription. Players, I think, can buy those for real money, and it gives you some kind of gold in the game or something like that. It's a way to purchase currency in the game. The problem, I think, with that system is that in EVE it works out really well, because when your items get destroyed and you can never recoup them. But in this game, items have durability and you just repair them. They never actually die. They are bound to you, so you can't sell them on the market, but in most MMOs, I've never really found a reason to want to buy gold online. Or, I mean, gold for, like, buying potions or whatever. Or really, what ends up being is you only need money for raid consumables. So, not sure that's going to work out. It's not like your breastplate gets broken and then you need a brand new one from the market. This game doesn't work that way. Your breastplate will never break. The only time you're ever going to get rid of it is if you upgrade it. So, again, don't think that system's going to work too well. So that means this is basically a subscription game, a lot like World of Warcraft and other games. Actually, the subscription-based game is kind of an older style. It's definitely not the norm now. You know, people are kind of going away from that. And I actually don't like it anymore. I don't think subscription-based is the way to go anymore. Anyway, so the way this game works, it's a lot like WoW. There are quest hubs. If you look at the map, you can see here's a quest hub region. It's a town. I think that's the main city. And then you have this quest hub and this other quest hub, and these are all quest hubs just like WoW, and you get like a quest at the end of that hub to send you to the next hub. So in that regards, it's just like WoW, again, along with the graphics. And then you have, you know, your quest tracker. This is a lot like WoW. The one difference here is you can click the quest tracker, and it points you directly in the direction of where you need to go to complete that quest. I guess that's good. It's just it's not dumbing down, but what it's doing is trying to reduce the amount of time it takes to do things. But in doing that, in my opinion, it takes immersion out of the game. I don't think that's a good idea. It's nice because it's at your fingertips, and I do use it. I mean, why wouldn't I use it? But it's just not, I don't know. Again, here's what it's doing. I don't even look at the map anymore. I never open the map. I don't even open the quest track, the actual quest GUI, because I can just click this. I don't even need to read anything. I just go there and just start killing stuff. And also, let me see if I can find you some stuff. Let's go up here and actually look at a couple of these quests. So I'm going to do these reviews in a slightly different way now. I don't want to have categories and things like that to really structure it. I'm just going to do, well, actually, hold on. Let me change back to my notes here. I had it actually switched off. I'm just going to do what's bad, then what's good, and then what's really awesome. That's the way I'm going to do this thing from now on. Also, I'm going to be including a face cam to just help you get some FaceTime with me. So, normally, like if this guy was part of a quest, Webwood Spitter, he would have a little icon next to his name. So you don't even have to read. You don't even have to know what quest that guy's for. You just know, hey, I got to kill that guy for a quest, so I'm going to kill him. Again, really, it's just cutting down on the time you have to spend to actually figure out what quests you need to do. If all you like is combat, then that's great. But, you know, if all you like is combat, what's the point of quests? Why don't you just go grind mobs? You know, if you don't like to read quests or don't even know what they're about, what's the point of them? I don't know. Maybe they should just have kill quests where you come into a new area, there's no hub, you just all these new things pop up. Kill 10 of these guys, 10 of these guys. You know, I mean, they might as well do that if you really don't care. So, again, I don't think it's a good idea. I also don't like when they do that pathing thing where they do that glowing path exactly to where you have to go. I've never been a fan of that. I've been more of a fan of the EverQuest style where you have to actually interact with the community, try to read websites. Sometimes the websites won't have the good information, so you have to try to figure it out. I kind of like that. But anyway, that's kind of from a time long past. So this is my engineer. That's the character I have, and the engineer, well, actually, we'll talk about that in a little bit, actually. I'm getting off my little notes here. So the one thing I thought was bad, first of all, is it's very linear progression, same old questing, just like WoW. It's pretty much a carbon copy of WoW's questing format. I don't like that. I played WoW for years, you know, like 3 years, which is a long time for me for an MMO. I'm tired of that system. It works well. I'm not even saying it doesn't. It's just, I'm just tired of it. And it's not just that I'm tired of the WoW format. I'm tired of it because all the new MMOs seem to be using it. All the fantasy MMOs that are theme parks are using the same exact quest hub system. And someone says, well, what else are they supposed to use? I don't know. Before WoW, what'd they use? Something else. You know, other games use other things. Just do something else. Ditch this quest hub thing. I'm tired of it. Just get rid of it. Maybe don't have things where they point you to the next hub. Maybe they could just do that. Vanguard had that. It was really cool. Yes, sometimes Vanguard would lead you to the next hub, but a lot of times you were just out running around checking out stuff because, you know, you were happened to be out and about looking for something or find an iron node you wanted to mine or something like that. Here, let's start doing some combat while I talk. And, you know, that's how you found the next quest hub, kind of maybe in a out of the way beaten, you know, area or something. And it was really cool for that. So I kind of like, just do something else. You know, I'm getting tired of the quest hub thing. In fact, like other people that have already reviewed this game from even other websites are saying, no, I'm already bored with the quest hub system. I wanted to quit at level 5, but I couldn't because I'm doing a review, which is kind of what I thought too. I was bored of this system already at level 5. So that's the bad. I showed you a little bit of combat. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. NPCs and items are slightly buggy still. Sometimes the NPCs will be floating in the air or underneath the ground and you can't interact with them. Normally, if it was earlier in beta or late stage alpha, I would say that's still fine. But that's kind of a huge bug to have this late in beta. I don't think they should have those kind of bugs. You've probably seen the screenshots that I did. All you have to do is log out and back in, and generally that fixes the NPCs, but still it's kind of crappy. Couple quests are still buggy, it seems, too. Again, this late in beta, I would expect there shouldn't be really any buggy quests, especially not in the newbie areas. The one quest I'm talking about, really, and there was a couple of them, but the one specifically was there was an item at the bottom of the river that's supposed to be something you pick up and turn in again, and I couldn't interact with it. So it's really just simple. They probably just need to go in and either change the base class for that item in the code, or change a couple of the attributes on the item itself. It's probably not a big deal. Sci-fi game with only bipedal races again, kind of annoying. If you're going to have a fantasy or sci-fi game that's not based on Earth anymore, spend a little bit of extra time and come up with some different models. I don't know, if it's all about animation, take some of your monster models and just make them into playable races with backstory and everything. Not everything can be bipedal. I don't understand that. So there is a knock on that, but I thought the characters and races were actually kind of cool, the races and classes, so we'll talk about that in a minute. I just don't like that everybody still has 2 arms and 2 legs and a head. That's not going to be the way it is. You know, not everything's going to end up like a human. It's just, especially in a sci-fi game where you're talking about things from other worlds and stuff, it just not going to happen that way. So I would like to see them put a little extra effort into that. Mobs show exactly what they're going to hit while charging an ability. First of all, it makes it boring. Here, let's do it with these guys. You'll see. I'm trying to get maybe one of these guys to do it. Most of the guys have, there, see them charging it up? They're going to hit in that range right there. It just kind of takes away from combat. Like, it's too easy to know exactly where they're going to be hitting me. Not a big fan of that. Maybe they should make it so you actually have to learn the mob to know how the mob's gonna attack. You know, that was just like old MMOs. When you didn't know a mob, it was dangerous because you didn't know how they were gonna act. You didn't know their special abilities. Even if you did, like you read them off the net, didn't know how they actually worked. And so part of the game was mastering each one of the mobs. That's especially true in like 5-man instances and raid instances. Even just learning trash. I remember back in even in WoW, there were times when really EverQuest, but WoW, you know, even still a little bit, we had to spend time learning trash because the trash packs were just complicated, which was awesome. Yeah, we wiped. Yeah, it was frustrating a little bit, but that's part of the game. When you beat it, you felt like, oh my god, now I'm the master of that mob. Yeah, I can pull that trash and kill that trash, no problem. Bring it on, you know, and it felt like an achievement. In this, it doesn't. I'm just avoiding the red zone on the ground. It doesn't. It's like I don't need to know anything about the mob because I can just avoid the red stuff on the ground. I don't like that. Now, so that's what's bad. I'm sure there are a few other things that I didn't like. But let's move on to the good stuff, and then we'll talk about... There's probably a couple other things I'll note upon later. They just didn't seem like they showed up in the bad category. So good. Character races are fun and interesting. Let's just log out real quick. Let's switch characters, which annoyingly takes 30 seconds. I guess to prevent you from just logging out right in the middle of a fight, but hey, if I'm in town, why is it still taking 30 seconds? I don't know. If you're in a safe area or not in combat, it should not take 30 seconds to change characters. A little bit of a gripe for me. But anyway, let's go look at the characters. I'll just go in and create a character for you. It's pretty cool. I do like that the races are a little bit different, even though they're all bipedal. Like the race I'm playing right now, I don't know what it's called, but it's a robot race, which is kind of cool. It's all robots. As you can see right there, this is my robot chick. I just like to roll chicks when I'm just playing around because they're hotter. That ass looks kind of weird though with the legs, but whatever. So let's create a new character. They have two factions. This is basically the good guy faction and the bad guy faction right here, which is all the, you know, bad dudes apparently. So this is like the I think these are the rebels and this is the Empire. I don't know exact name and they're not even telling me. The Dominion is the Empire, and the Exiles are the good guys, so or Alliance or whatever. Again, two faction system. Not a big fan of it, but for theme parks, it's kind of understanding. It's understandable to have just factions. I kind of like where you just have a bunch of races, and then like EverQuest did, you raise your reputation with the different factions that you want to be friendly with. You can choose to be friendly with some factions, or choose not to be friendly with them, or different races. That's a much more dynamic system, and it's kind of weird. Here's the weird part to me. As we advance in age of MMOs, things become more simple, not more complex and interesting. They become dumbed down and more simple, and you just get bored with them quicker because they're more simple. Yeah, it lets people get into the game quicker, I think, is why they want to do it. They don't want people to quit before level 10 or whatever it is, but you got to keep them playing too, especially for a subscription-based MMO. So anyway, I picked Dominion just because why not? So there are different races, obviously. Each faction has their own races, except the Cassians are basically humans. And then Draken, I don't know, there's these kind of demon-like dudes. They're kind of cool. Chua, I'm not sure if there's... I don't know anything about the Chua, really. I don't know why there's no male or female. But these little rodent guys. And then the Makari, which are these mechanical dudes, which I think are really cool. I just like how they're super mechanical, and you can change like their features and stuff. Like if you go to... let's see, if you go to... I think I want to say, how do you get to the face features and stuff? I can't remember. Customize. So you can come in here and kind of customize the facial features, like face style. I don't know, this guy, that looks cool. Customize the face, that's fine. But you can do different skin color, which is like the metal colors. Different hair, which for these guys is like that. And then crystal color, you know, like can change that as well. And changes facial features. So that's pretty neat. It's nice to have some kind of different looking stuff. And then just random bodily features, which is cool. So I like that. Is there a way to go back? There really isn't. Well, kind of. So let's look at the Exiles races here. So we got human, which is kind of like the other guys that we already saw. The Cassian is kind of the human, the same thing. Then we got these bunny creatures, and I would imagine these are for Asian players because bunny ears is like a huge Asian thing. I don't know. I don't get it, but it is cool. They think it's cool, so that's great. What are these guys? Scrappy, Passioned Arin? Oh, Granox. These guys are like stone creatures. This is kind of cool too. Again, it's just cool to see different kinds of creatures in the game as playable races. Again, not that they're really any different. They're bipedal. They're all bipedal, so there's no real differences here. And then they generally get all the same classes. There's a couple of things they can't be, which I think is good too. The Cassians, the humans, can be anything. I think it's on both sides as well. Yeah, see, humans can be anything. But when you start changing into these other races and stuff, really limits the classes they can be. See, this one, you can't be a spellslinger or an esper. So let's talk about classes now. The races are pretty neat. Let's just pick a Cassian so that they can be everything. A warrior, you know, two-hand sword, melee guy. They can be a tank. Engineer, which is what I was playing, is a ranged character. They can be tanks or DPS. But they're a lot like a hunter. They get pets and they get CC abilities and stuff like that. The Esper, I think, is just a magic user, right? Masters of Illusion, this is like a DPS guy. DPS caster. A Medic is the healer. Stalker is like a rogue. They have stealth and things like that. And Spellslinger, I'm not exactly sure. Steel-Eyed Gun for Hire. So it's, again, more like a DPS ranged guy. The second thing they have, which is like a minor class thing, is called a path. And basically what this is throughout your running around the world and stuff, doing questing and everything, you're going to find nodes for each of these type paths. A soldier node might be like an assassination node where you click it and it pops up an assassination quest where you have to go out and kill something, and you get path experience. So there's two separate experience. There's your class experience, which is just turning in quests and killing mobs, get you class experience, and then working on your path gets you path experience. So the path experience gets you access to different special abilities or items. Like for the settler, you can do a campfire, which will heal everybody and offer kind of a buff. But you get access to other buffs with settler. It's kind of a cool, interesting mechanic. I wish it would be implemented a little bit heavier because it feels like it's kind of a backseat to the class system, which again is fine. It would be really cool though if you could do like the majority of your stuff in your path and maybe take the class takes a backseat. Like Star Wars Galaxies kind of did that in a sense where since you can only pick a certain amount of skills, I mainly had to go into weaponsmith, which means I still had some skills left over for combat, but weaponsmithing was my main job. That's what I did most of the time. And then when I just wanted to have some fun with some people, I grouped up, went out and shot people and shot stuff. I wasn't very good at combat, you know, not like the combat focused guys, but I could still go out and shoot up some stuff and have some fun. I wish they would have done that with the paths. That would have been a lot better. Flesh them out a little bit. Maybe they have they're going to want to do that. So, but the paths are pretty cool. So I think they did a good job with the class system, the paths, and the characters and races. Except again, only bipedals. It's fine. There's a couple cool things thrown in there. So there are also different ways to complete objectives. So let's cancel out of this and just go back to my level 10 here. It takes a little bit to get in the game. But what I mean by this is sometimes you'll have a quest where you need to click something, and then you have to click your action button at certain times. Like the progress bar will go by, and you have to click at the certain time, and then it shows up, which is kind of neat. They don't do it enough, and it's kind of easy at the earlier levels, but it adds a little bit of complexity to questing and adds something different. And that's really what I want to see in these games. Show me something new that I haven't done before. Not only are you going to capture the new audience that way, you get a lot of the old MMO vets like myself interested in your game by adding a different mechanic in. So I really like that. I think they did a good job. They need to just do more of it. Lots of lore all over the place to find. I wish I could show you one of these. Let's see if I can show you some lore here. Let's go back to town. I think I already grabbed them all. Oh, here's one I didn't grab. See that book sticking out right there? There's a double jump also in the game, which I think is cool. We'll talk about in a minute. So I just right-click that. I'm getting jacked up. Oh, these guys. Yeah, let's just take care of these guys. Alright, juicing them. So, regular mobs, not too difficult right now. So I'm going to pick up this lore. So this is kind of neat. It keeps track of all your lore, and you can read through all this lore and stuff. The only problem I have with the lore, the one thing I do like about it, it's everywhere. There's tons of it. There's tons of information about the background of the game and things like that. But one thing I didn't like is there doesn't seem to be a reason to do any of the lore. It doesn't serve any purpose other than just to read if you want to read. I wish there was a benefit to reading the lore. Like maybe if you read the lore, it would tell you about some secret place that nobody else knows about, that you can actually go and do things from that lore. That'd be kind of neat. And maybe it would be randomly placed or something, so that just because you read the book or something doesn't mean you would know exactly where to go from some website. Oh, it's always right here. Just run there and you're fine. No, maybe you'd have to figure out a puzzle, or from the lore figure out this special area. That'd be kind of neat. Again, it would take a little more time, but again, I would feel like the lore would be more meaningful that way. But again, I like that it's all over the place. The lore is there to be found. It's in the world too. It's not just something they only have a UI and you just go read the UI for hours and hours. No, it's in the game. You got to find it. I like that. So again, one thing I do like is the sprint and evade part of combat. That's something kind of different for me. Hold down shift and you can see there's a stamina bar there, and you can sprint around. That helps with combat. Also, you can do a double tap to kind of jump out of the way here. It doesn't take up... Oh, okay, dash is on cooldown. I did not know it had a cooldown, to be honest. So that's kind of neat. And then also they have double jump, which is kind of neat for like platforming and stuff. I do think they need more platforming style quests. They don't seem to utilize this cool double jump feature, which really puts a little bit of skill into double jumping onto different platforms and stuff, a la parkour style. But still, I really like it. It would be on the awesome category if they utilized it more, or used it more in quests and stuff like that. Actually, it would be utilized. Utilized meaning use it for something and not really necessarily intended for. So that's done. Now we're done with the good stuff. But the really awesome stuff, in my opinion, is very interesting abilities with specific AoE arcs. Like if you look at this one right here, my main arc is that first one shooting out there, and that'll get me 100% damage. And the side ones, I'll still hit, but I won't do as much damage. So I think it's 60 or 80% on the sides, I can't remember. But I like that it does have a path with, let's see if I can do anything else. I don't think I can. Let's go up here and shoot some of these guys. But it has very narrow fields for like really powerful spells, or wide area effects for different things like that. It's really cool. I like that system. Combined with the sprinting and the dodging system and things like that, it's a really good combat system. It's not targeted. See, so there's my little extra spell there. Let's use a stun on this guy. There, he's stunned now. So that's kind of neat. Calling my pets to help me out here. Getting oh, I got jumped. So let's turn on my extra buff here. This is a class buff that I get every 45 seconds. And there's my really kind of uber techno DPS there. So that is pretty neat. I like the combat system. It's really cool. It's fairly refreshing. Again, it's not the targeted system. Everybody's sick of that. It's boring. This is a much more eloquent system as far as I'm concerned. It's a little bit more chaotic, and that's what I like about it. I just like that each one of the skills seems to have a really different reason for using it, and a really different field of arc and different things like that. It's kind of neat. Kind of can't wait to see the next skills, although I'm not sure if I'm going to be playing this game. But last in the awesome category, and last for this whole beta review here, tell me what you want to see. Maybe I can do. Well, I can't because this is the last day of it. But the world is really beautiful. I love the look of the world. It's got, darkness in certain areas. You can see it's not super lit up here. I mean, I can see everything, but it's got like that shadow look to it, and we're in like a spidery area with like all these webs and everything. The art design is really cool. I do like the cartoony look, mainly because it allows for just a more artistic look, and I really like that. I don't like the really lined out type of graphics, just because it's just not as artsy. It's not as pretty to look at. And then another thing I like about is the world map. I just love the world map and how areas are kind of grayed out. It does have a really cool sci-fi look to it. It's kind of weird that I think it's a little odd that I don't know the whole map, since this is sci-fi. Couldn't I scan this whole map? I do like that it shows you where the quests are located in a way. I don't know. It's that catch-22 thing where I don't have to figure out where the quest is. But I just think the map is very well done. I haven't used anything over here, really. I guess you can just click stuff and it shows you where the area is. That works. Again, I don't know. It's a catch-22. While the map is really helpful and everything, and I like it, I just feel like sometimes it's overkill. But anyway, it's really awesome. Again, the art's just amazing. The characters look great. I love all the different features you can do. Again, there's probably the boobs are too big and the waists are too small, but what are you gonna do? Nobody wants to look at overweight people. I don't know. Why would you put them in? Do you want to look at them? I guess some people do. But if you're going to put characters in, they might as well be good looking. If you look at the guys that got big chests, they got big shoulders. Now, maybe they're overdoing it. I mean, look at this character. This is almost a carbon copy of the World of Warcraft Night Elf Hunter. Look at her stance. Her arms are behind her midsection. Rarely do I see a woman stand like this. Usually she's in a suggestive posture, if you understand what I'm saying there. Gigantic boobs. Tiny waist, huge hips. I mean, it's a little overdone, but again, it's the art style of the game. I don't necessarily dislike it. It's much better than a stick figure. I wouldn't want to see that. So, I don't know. I think the art's awesome and I really like it. And overall, I think I like the game. It's just too much like World of Warcraft. If you've never played World of Warcraft because you're so new to MMOs, you'll probably like this game. If it's your first time playing like this quest hub style, you'll like it. I didn't get into crafting because supposedly at level 10 you get this crafting quest, but I never received it. So I don't have any more time to spend on this game. I need to go make other videos. But I've heard the crafting is really cool. Let's talk about the skills a little bit too. I think they did a good job. If you look at, I got to go down here to abilities because I don't know the hotkey. That is not it. It is this one. So you can see this is pretty standard where you're just picking up your regular skills. You do have to buy them, but you don't have to go to a trainer, which is, I don't know. It's catch-22. It's nice because it's so convenient, but it also takes a piece of immersion out of the game that you don't have to go back to your trainer. Now, as in a sci-fi thing, you might not have to, and maybe that could be one of the benefits of being a robot, that you don't have to go back to train. You just download the patch, right, and then you're all patched up. And then there's utility, which is the CC ability I have, and then path skills, which you get as you go along your path here. Amps are kind of like they're kind of like the talent tree in a sense. So let's say I wanted to boost up critical hit. Let's see, assault power, that's the damage I do just on an everyday basis. I'm going to do that so I can amp that sucker up like so. Unlocked assault rank 2, and it's not unlocked. Interesting. I unlocked the rank 2, not enough points. Oh, okay, because it probably takes 3 points to spend in there. Power cost 4 points. So there you can unlock, and you can kind of specialize, which is kind of neat. I'm sure there'll be specific builds that are the only builds that are viable and things like that. That happens a lot in these kind of games. Buy full amp reset, so yeah, you can reset them. That's no big deal. If you look at the crafting, which I think is... No, that's Group Finder. It's one of these buttons. Trade skills. It works off schematics just like WoW. You can create items and all that stuff. And then the tech trees where you just rank up your crafting. And then talents is kind of neat. It lets you specialize a little bit on certain skills and things like that in your crafting, which I think is pretty cool. But again, the problem with this system is no items degrade. So again, almost the only crafting you should do are all consumable line, like potions, like or gems that you stick, socket into gear that get destroyed when you use them. Those are the only professions that are going to be worth a damn, because at the end game, all you're going to be caring about is gold and maybe making your own potions to save money. Crafting becomes like a side hobby that's just not even that fun. It's not like Eve where I have a crafter just because I want to free ships and I want to be able to make money. That's how I make money, to buy other ships, because my ships get destroyed and I got to get new ones, So there's always people crafting ships because there's a constant demand for them because they're getting destroyed too. So they're leaving the system as new items come in, and it keeps the system flowing and working well. Instead of mudflation where there's a glut of some item, and nobody needs it because like I said, the breastplate's never going to be destroyed. So there's no demand for any items in the system other than consumables, which again get consumed as you use them. They get destroyed, right? They leave the system. That's the whole point to that. So again, this crafting system, it could have been a lot better because again, it's just because of the way the loot system is. There's really no way around it. If you're gonna have uber loot that you have to spend a week getting, you can't have it also be destroyed. So it's the lesser of two evils, kind of. So anyway, that's my review, my beta impressions of Wildstar. Hope you liked it. I know I just ran around a lot and didn't really show you a lot of the game, but I did talk about what I liked and didn't like about it, and showed you kind of some combat and things like that. So let me know what you think about this impression. Again, I only had a few hours to play. I got to level 10, and I'm sure it will change a little bit. Check out Wildstar if you're interested, and you'll be able to learn more about the game as it progresses, and beta weekends as they come out. So anyway, let me know what you think. Again, put questions in the comments. Maybe I'll be able to answer them, or somebody else will be able to answer them if I didn't cover them here. And as always, stay frosty.